Six Flags is and has been one of the largest chains of amusement parks for decades, but it's had its fair share of hardships over the years. From safety concerns to bankruptcy, there's always been this bubble and a bit of controversy towards the entertainment giant. Now, it remains in the news for similar reasons today, so let's take a quick look into the current state of Six Flags Entertainment. So if you're in tune to any kind of theme park news, you probably know that Six Flags has been catching some heat lately, more specifically their new CEO, Samil Basol. Now, the CEO has put forth his new vision for the chain, and he's been quoted saying he wants the parks to focus on guest experiences and new events to help mold the chain. Basically, he wants to shift the chain closer to a Cedar Fair style, with a bit more of a heavier price tag but a higher quality experience. Now, unfortunately, he's also been quoted as saying he no longer wants the parks to be a cheap daycare for teenagers, which is a pretty good way to alienate a big portion of your guest. Now, but to Basol's credit, the parks have already announced their 2023 event schedule, and there's a lot to look forward to. For example, Great Adventure, which is one of the larger parks in the chain, will have events for Spring Break, a Viva La Fiesta event, Kids Fest weekends, Food and Brew weekends, 4th of July, Summer Vibes daily events, National Coaster Day, Thrillathon, an Oktoberfest, Kids Boo Fest, Fright Fest, something called Grape Adventure, playing on Great Adventure, Veterans Weekends, and Holiday in the Park. Now, unfortunately, the offset to this style of promotion is that the CEO seems to not believe in adding any major thrill attractions to the chain, and the chain as a whole will be adding 0 new rides for the upcoming season that hadn't already been previously announced, like Aquaman to Over Texas. Now, this is the chain that drove itself into bankruptcy, adding 20 coasters a year at one point. Now, I'm not saying that that's the solution, because obviously it's not, it didn't work, but even in a down year, Cedar Fair, who they're trying to emulate, is adding multiple small-scale and one decent-sized roller coaster to their parks. Now, the other big standout here is Six Flags stock is trading at a low since the pandemic. Now, the prices for 2023 for park guests will only go up, and the new season pass system is more expensive with less benefits to guests. Now, the philosophy of less guests in the park, shorter lines, a better experience, but paying a little bit more is fine. But with the company already losing money, not adding anything major, and raising prices, it may result in a very poor turnout even with these new events. I just don't think that Six Flags guests care too much about events. They're more of an afterthought that are kind of cool when they happen to be going on during your visit. Then, on top of all this, last week El Toro at Great Adventure, their massive wooden coaster had an accident, resulting in minor injuries for about 13 riders. More bad press, and then it was announced it was due to substructure damage. I'm sure that the maintenance for the park will be blamed by the public, and it's just a terrible look. Luckily, it does sound like the repairs won't take too long and the ride will be reopened soon. Enthusiasts also collectively gasped when Mr. Freeze at Over Texas was announced to give last rides in September. But the park did put out later that the ride would return, but with something new. My guess is they just kind of flip the trains around so it's no longer a reverse blast, and they try to market it as something new for the park. Now, it's just more bad press from enthusiasts. I know we're a small group of the community, but still, it seems like nothing that Six Flags is doing is gaining positive traction. Overall, it just feels like the park is pushing away a big core portion of their guests in a bold new strategy that could result in a big misstep if it doesn't pay out. Now, it feels like a massive reshaping that's just being a little rushed, and it could come off as cheap, negligent, and kind of simply dumb if the turnstiles turn empty. Now, we'll see how these events draw up, but for now, I'm worried this could push Six Flags back down into real economic trouble. Then again, I could be completely wrong. Adding tons of thrill rides didn't work. I just think there's more of a balance. And if I'm wrong, feel free to come back, comment, let me know, tell me how dumb I am, and that you'll never listen to me. But now I'm going to be a Great Adventure the day this airs, so tomorrow as of now. But I'm going to make sure to give a trip report, see how the park feels. I don't think there'll be too much change as of now, but when I go back next year to my home park, it's going to be really telling to see what the experience is like. So until next week, that's all from the shores of Island Coasters.